Skip, I got to break this up in two parts because I think their offense was a 10. If you look at what Dak did, he got off to a rough start, threw a pick six. Quarterbacks need to work on tackling because it seems to be, you can't be in a better position than what Dak was. Dak, you got to get him on the ground. But Sweat takes it back for a touchdown, and they're down all of a sudden. But I thought Dak did an unbelievable job of leading this team back. He took advantage of some mistakes that they made in the secondary. Skip, you can't give up 3rd and 30. And I tweeted, that's the ball game. When you give up 3rd and 30 on a 52-yard completion, and remember, Skip, I said earlier in the week, I said the reason why they got T.Y. Hilton is for a play.
Yeah.
Well, that's all you need. You're not getting for a game. That's what you got CD for. That's why you have Gallup. But you need one play, and he gave him that. The defense was a 5. Because think about it, Skip. The Eagles didn't punt one time Saturday. Excuse me. They didn't punt. And Gardner Minshew was going up and down the field.
He was.
They made some mistakes. Give the Cowboys defense credit because they were very opportunistic. Every time they got close to the ball and got their hands on the ball, they came down with it. But that would give me cause of concern because that's Gardner Minshew. That's not Jalen Hurts. One guy was the front runner before he got injured for the MVP, which lets you know how well he was playing. But I felt really good going into the game, Skip. I said, because if you look at the Eagles, that offensive line, extremely talented, 3 Pro Bowl players. You look at the receiving corps, Devontae, they had 2 guys go over 100 yards receiving. And they got Goddard back, who was having an outstanding game. Now, they didn't run the ball as well as I thought they would. Couple of turnovers by the running backs, but I gave the defense a 5. I thought the offense was sensational. Dak threw the ball once that one turnover, because if you think about it, Skip, he was 15 or 16. There was 16 was the pick. So he completed all of his passes. It was just happened to be one to the other guy.
In the first half.
First half, he completed all of his passes, except the one went to the team that wasn't a teammate of his. But I thought Dak showed, once that pick happened, I thought he was very consistent. They had an opportunity. Eagles had an opportunity. They gave up a 3rd and 30. They had a chance to get the ball, the fumble. The guy looked like Linval Joseph was going to get it. And somehow one, Biotish, I think, was the one came up out of the pile with it.
He snaked it right out from under. I don't know how he did it.
And that's what you have to have, Skip. When you get opportunities, you see the Cowboys, that ball hit the turf, the Cowboys were on it. That ball popped up in the air. There were 2 outstanding interceptions. Bland made one, and Jyron and Kearse made another. J-Ron. They were outstanding interceptions. But Dak, once that interception happened, I don't think Dak can play any better than what he played after the INT happened. And if you take the INT away, I'm not so sure he didn't play a perfect ball game. That's how good he was. He was able to manipulate people with his eyes. Every throw, there was really no throw that was like, oh, man, you're asking the guy to do something that he's not capable of doing. So I gave the offense a 10. I gave the defense a 5 because they gave up 34 points with 4 turnovers. They play a clean game, Skip. That's a 45. That's a 50-point ball game. And that's not good.
Okay, so if you combine your two, would you give them a 7 overall?
7.5.
7.5 overall, says Shannon
Because
Sharpe.
special teams was outstanding.
Well, for once, I don't disagree with any of your assessment. But I'm going to go a little higher on the overall scale. 1 to 10, I give my Cowboys on the impressive scale on Saturday a 9.
Okay.
And I won't go to 10 because there was no Jalen Hurts. I do have respect for Gardner Minshew because he's pretty good and he played very well under the circumstances, getting thrown into that fire on that day, that late in the season in that building against that team. But I do believe my biggest takeaway from this game is my Dallas Cowboys are going to have a very happy new year. I told you all week I was going farther and farther out on a limb. I said I believe they're going to play their best game of the year because I believe their quarterback, Dak Prescott, is going to play his best game of the year. And I believe, all told, this was Dallas's best game of the year. I believe that Dallas made a deep playoff run statement. I believe Dallas made a statement on Saturday, late afternoon, evening, however you want to look at it, depending on your time zone. I believe they made a statement that said, we are a potential, I'm not saying they're going to the Super Bowl, but that we are a potential Super Bowl team because we have firepower and legitimate star power that has arrived.
Let's just say, for the sake of argument, you take care of business and you guys meet the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. You believe you can go to Philly and beat them with Jalen.
And I look forward to that because I would like to validate what happened Saturday.
Okay.
And yet, here's the big picture takeaway from Saturday's game. You picked 20-17. So you thought that
30 to 27.
Oh, I thought it was 20-17.
No, 30 to 27. That was our pick.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was lower. You
32.
sure?
I'm positive.
Okay,
30-27.
all right. I thought you said 2017.
I think you picked 32-17.
I did 32-17.
Yeah.
Well, I went up to 32, and they went up to 4-0. So I have said all year long, because Cooper Rush did move the ball. Once he got stymied 20-0, then he had a 70-yard drive and a 90-yard drive, and all of a sudden you look up and it's 20-17.
Okay.
So even Cooper Rush as a backup quarterback thrown into the fire when Philly was hotter than hot at Philly.
Right.
He still moved the football on a defense that I believe is vulnerable, because look, it's loaded with Pro Bowlers and it's loaded with pass rushers, and you can certainly make the case those are the two best cornerbacks in football.
They didn't play like it on Saturday.
They did not, because we went up and down the field on them just as Gardner Minshew went up and down the field.
But if you notice, Skip, that game changed when Maddox went out. When that slot corner went out.
Maddox was having his way. He was having a huge impact, and I will give you that. I heaved a little sigh of relief when he went out, because he was making stuff happen.
He's making plays all over the field.
I got you. But in the end, here's what I've learned about my Dallas Cowboy defense. Even though our pass rush has turned into more of a pass rush.
Yes.
Hush. I still say that my defense will bend and bend and bend and then break you, because I kept saying this as a highlight last week. I kept clinging to this. We lead the NFL in takeaways, and we increased our lead by taking it away 4 times from the Eagles. One of those was the Eagles' fault, and that was Minshew just missed the handoff to Miles Sanders. The other one, we stripped it from Miles, and then the other 2 picks, we literally took it away from Quez. And maybe he needs to fight harder for the football, but my safety and my young cornerback just went up and said, no, this belongs to me.
Yeah.
I will take it away from you.
Right.
And we've seen Quez have some issues before. You thought he should have run through the ball against the Washington, right? Yeah, that was at Philly. That's the only game before this one that they had lost.
Correct.
Okay, so my defense will take it away. And at this time of year, it's just gold. You know, and I know, turnover ratio is it. Well,
and look at where they took it away from. They short fields for your offense.
Just boom, 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 boom. And to Dak's credit, as you pointed out, after that nightmare that started the game, he cashed and he cashed and he cashed some more.
Right.
And CeeDee Lamb, I keep saying, is a top 10 receiver, and he looked top 5-ish on Saturday, because he goes 10 for $120. He just was dominant. He was the best receiver on the field, and they got 2 really good ones. They got a really good tight end, and they all had big games. All 3 of those guys had big games, and I still say CeeDee Lamb was the best receiver on the field, and I think for once you would agree just off that one game.
Yes.
Okay, so would I look forward to the rubber match? Yes, I would, because I love Jalen Hurts, and I still believe he should be right in the middle of the MVP conversation. And you can certainly make the case that their run game would have been much more effective if they had the ride and decide that he brings to the table.
Well, I think he got hurt because Gardner Minshew put up 34 points with 4 turnovers. And because now you ask yourself, if the backup for Kansas City plays, you think they're putting up 30 points? You think they're putting up 20 points? If the backup for Buffalo plays, so that when you and the voters like, well, damn. That offense is really good, even without Jalen Hurts. Skip, they didn't punt. They didn't punt. I mean, think about it. You bring your backup quarterback in and you don't punt the football.
And he didn't get sacked. He didn't get sacked, okay? He got pressured some.
Mailata did an unbelievable job going with Parsons. Now, that last drive, Skip, they dialed it up. They weren't getting pressure on him pretty much the whole day. But that last drive, when they got down close.
Whatever they had left, they gave you. Mike had to call a timeout.
I love that. I love that. Hey, give me one. I got one more pass rush in me.
Finally, the head coach did something. It took him a while, but he was like, maybe I should give my best player a timeout, because we have one in our back pocket and we don't really need it at this point. So why not give him a blow? And he did, and they all needed one. And then they didn't get to him, but they made him hurry. And they made him think twice about a lot of things, and he wasn't able to keep his eyes downfield. And we rose and shone in the end and stopped him, even though that last drive, my God, I'm looking at what he did. He completed, this is Minshew in their final drive, he completed a 6-yarder, a 15-yarder, a 13-yarder, and a 22-yarder to Devontae. To get them within sort of Hail Mary range. It was even way inside. I mean, he had shots at the end zone. It got down to the 22. Okay, so that all happened. I give you that. I give you, what was the final yardage?
It was close.
442 yards did Gardner Minshew have. All right, back to my man, Dak Prescott, who drives me pretty crazy from week to week to week. And he's been on an interception roll. Shannon Sharpe, I think I proposed the bet.
You did.
I said that he would have 0 turnovers. And the truth is, he almost had 3, but he definitely had 1.
Yeah.
But usually, I don't want Dak to get in harm's way. But I lost my mind on this one. I lost a year off my life because I didn't see it coming.
You definitely don't want to start the game like this.
No, you don't, because all of a sudden you're in a 10-0 hole, just like boom, boom. Yeah. Because remember, we win the toss, we defer, and Gardner Minshew goes right down the field. What was it? 68 yards in 7 plays, and we held them to a field goal, but he still went and got a field goal.
You should have got a touchdown because he overthrew Quez Watkins on the seam route.
I know. I thought he was there too. I agree. So it could have been 14 easily. Yeah. But then, to the great resiliency of Dakota Prescott, because he is resilient. If nothing else,
absolutely,
he will fight back. He will shake it off. He will rise and shine again. And he goes 75-14, featuring mostly Tony Pollard, who had like a sort of a quietly important game, but he was big in that drive. And all of a sudden, it's 10-7. And then comes the cursed interception. And this is a game-changer saver, because I'm thinking, here he comes again. I don't think we can keep him out of the end zone.
Over his shoulder with one arm.
With one arm. And it's borderline PI. It's borderline. But it's not a terrible idea or a terrible throw from, what's his name? Minshew. I couldn't even think of his name. I was thinking Baker Mayfield. But he snatched it, and all of a sudden, here we go. Now we get our first TY sighting. And it's the first game he's played for my Dallas Cowboys, and he's in on a huge 4th down where they go for it at a place at the 45 where I thought was a little dicey.
Yes.
Here comes Gardner Minshew, boom, 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 and all of a sudden it's 17-14 Philadelphia, and I'm thinking, my God.
Okay, you know they watch this show. They hear you talking crazy.
Well, you know the Cowboys were watching that show because they just said, okay, here we go, game on right here, right now. But that could have been turnover
that's
number 2.
Probably your ball game, Skip,
it could have
because
been.
You're already down 7.
Okay, but then you said the ball game was about to come here.
Yeah,
and I also tweeted at halftime, I need one big play from T.Y. Hilton. Mm-hmm. I need one big play. And it's 3rd and 30. It's impossible. It's 3rd and 30 at the 29. And all of a sudden, here he goes again. It was on Slay. It's on Slay.
Slay got lazy with his eyes.
Well, he concentrated.
He did.
And he just said, I am going to snatch this football, and I'm going to hang on to it to the ground. It's a huge play because the first one, the Biotish, is a game saver.
Oh, yeah.
That's a game maker, right?
Yes.
That's like a game winner, as you said. You thought, okay, that's about it. And yet, how about my man, Brett, no fret Maher? Mm-hmm. He makes all 4 of his field goals, including the last one, and we pulled it off. And I thought it was a great day, an impressive day, and I loved everything I saw.
Well, you get beat, Skip. I mean, both defenses allow plus 50% on 3rd down conversion.
Yep.
And that normally leads for a long day. 8 of 14 for the Eagles, 8 of 15 for the Cowboys. You start letting teams complete 50+% on 3rd down. That means they get another crack at you to get the ball in the end zone. Bad things normally happen. But if I'm the Eagles, look, I'm disappointed because I thought this was a very winnable game, even without our best player, Jalen Hurts.
It was.
But to go get 34 points, and we turned the ball over 4 times, Nick Sirianni says, look, we lost the game. There are no moral victories. But we know we can play so much better than what we played on Saturday. Good. That's what I'm going to drive home. Okay. I'm disappointed that we lost, but I'm going to drive home. We scored 34 with 4 turnovers. We were almost 60% on 3rd downs. Wait till they bring their ass back to Philly.
Okay, but I'm going to drive home thinking we just gave up 40 points to the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
40.
Well, Mattis got hurt. We had 33 and 43. Those guys, like blind dogs in meat house. They know what's going on, but they can't make a play to save their life.
Yep, I got it.
But your day coming.
I'll take it.
Your day coming.
My day came on Saturday. That was my game of the year. I'm good to go.
Okay.
Happy New Year, Dallas.
They play Thursday night versus the Tennessee Titans.
Tennessee done.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.